Ladies and gents, and thank you for watching ASFN Fishing. Now today I'm going to show you that bait I referred to when I showed you guys how to make this dangle and this general best go-to summer trace when you're fishing for both edibles and smaller sharks. Could be in the area that sharks won't bite you off, but a cob won't spit this trace. So have a look at that. It's in the link below, and also how to make this dangle, and it's in the link below. Now I'm going to show you quickly a Chokka trace inspired by, and Linton Premlal showed me a couple of moves on this trace, which makes a lot of sense to me, and I think it's a great thing to share with all of you guys just on our coastline. It makes a big difference. Alright, now this is just a plain Chokka trace, but I'll show you guys how to alternate a little bit. When you're targeting cob, grey sharks or hammerheads, this is a great go-to bait. Alright, firstly you've got that movement of this oversized styrene dangle that you've shaped, you'll see in the video if you watch it, and into a little rugby ball size. Okay, that gives you extreme buoyancy, and that will make this bait move around in that water and draw the attention of anything that's close to it. You'll catch a lot of it's a great little for flat fish moving on the bottom. Remember, the eyes are on top, they will see that movement and they will try to get it into their mouth. Grey sharks moving just above the bottom, we always get our baits up, so you get them not just above the bottom, but they're not moving on the bottom, they're moving off the bottom, so we get our baits as high up for them, and the same with the hammerheads to actually get a good bite. The same with cob. You guys all know, if you can get your bait up and give it movement, it really inspires cob to bite better. Alright, so let's start with a piece of Chokka, which I've already used for a bait. It's the leftover piece, which will work just fine for this particular demo. I'm just going to rip the skin off. Okay, take the head out. I'm just going to leave it in the bait box here for now. Cartridge out, just rinse it a bit, and there we go. Alright, got that nice piece of Chokka. Alright, that's what's left of the ink sac. Not a lot of ink in this particular Chokka. Oh, here it is, sorry I missed it. Here's the ink sac. Okay, now that's another subject, another bait, especially for eagle rays, duckbills and stuff like that. We use that ink sac and you beat it into the Chokka. Alright, now first you want to get a bit of a tentacle bait to create movement. Now right here where the cartridge sits, you've got that harder piece of Chokka. Alright, that's an ideal piece to use to create tentacles, because it doesn't beat very nicely when you want to beat it. It's a bit tougher than the rest of the body. So you can just cut that the length and shape you want it to be for the movement you want to create. Now those tentacles serve two purposes. It creates that movement on your bait, which draws the attention of any fish close in the area. It can provoke a reaction bite. Right, a fish that just suddenly sees the movement and he shoots. He doesn't even worry about the shape or the smell or anything. He just shoots and hits that bait because he saw the movement. That is what tentacles and movement does to your bait, especially in cleaner water. Secondly, when there's pickers around, they'll first hit these little tentacles before they start picking away at your bait. Now this bait particularly is kind of a picker-proof bait, and I'll explain why. You've got this very nice little bait. You need it to lie a bit longer to get a proper bite on a grey shark or a hammerhead or a cob, and the pickers start hitting away at it, already taking the shape and the effectiveness of your bait away. Now I like pickers hitting my bait, but there's a couple of tricks that I'll show you guys in this that will assist you with that, because when they hit your bait, it gets more smell into the water, it gets more movement into the water, they can see this action. And I experimented I did in the past where underwater, looking at how fish will approach bait or something that's a freebie for them in the water, they'll leave the small fish hitting it first, and when they see no, it's safe enough, they'll push through, bully everything out of the way, and they'll hit it. I've seen that several times over. So you want the pickers to hit your bait, but you don't want them to take off your bait, that you don't stand a chance of still getting a good bite. Now we all use latex cotton, Alright, for all our baits, because it ties a very neat bait. But on this particular bait, I'm going to use ghost cotton as well. The old-fashioned ghost cotton. Alright. Now first things first, I just want to get my tentacle on. And the reason I beat it is so that the cotton holds it better onto my foam there. And very simple, just tie the tentacles to the top. This will sit in the water like this, so the tentacles will hang down. Right, that makes it better for casting. It depends on what you want. You can add tentacles, shorter ones, to the top to create that movement, that they fall over and they really start creating that movement, that on the sides of this bait there's movement that the fish can notice, and it just makes it look more alive if you want a reaction bite. Alright, so starting off with your ghost cotton, the reason we do that is you want the last layers of your bait to stay. With your latex cotton, if something with teeth, like smaller shad or some of these sand soldiers we've got on our coastline, or any of those peckers come and hit that latex cotton, they break that cotton, everything starts jumping off, your bait comes off your hook. So your first layers of bait, they don't get that right with ghost cotton as easily. So your first couple of layers of bait, you tie with ghost cotton. And then your last couple of layers, for the visual side of things, you use latex. So when the peckers hit the outside layers, those couple of layers you've got will come off. It will create that extra mayhem in the water, because the small ones will take off with it. It will be hit from every direction in the water. It will create that extra flavor in the water, but your main bait here is still sitting, and the peckers will still try on this bait. They'll notice they can't get it off, and they'll spend their time hitting the pieces that came off already. Okay. From Linton. Thanks, Linton. Very logical approach, and sometimes make big differences in anglers' results by just doing small things like that. Alright, now the idea is, this is a diamond type shape bait, but it's more little round discs. We're going to cut a couple so we can start layering them. And remember, when you hit them now, they're going to go bigger. So you want to cut them slightly smaller than your actual dangle, so that when you hit them, they're not too big and they make a sloppy, ugly bait. And at this stage, you know, doing this, they don't have to be too neat, because we're gonna beat them. Alright, good idea. Now I'm gonna quickly chop these up with a Chokka hammer. Alright, another thing about Chokka hammers, you'll see some of them have got sharper points on the one edge and then flattened points on the other side. If they don't, you take the one side, you hit it on the rocks until it goes a bit flat. That mushes up a Chokka bait much better than the sharp ones, that it'll just cut through the tough part. Now when we beat Chokka, we put the tough side, the skin side, to the top, so that the softer side starts mushing open. It just creates more flavor, and it's still a stronger bait than if you have to puncture it with sharp points. Alright guys, now you've beaten a couple of pieces. The whole idea now is my first layer is to form a decent bait already, is still with the ghost cotton. Tie that with the ghost, which makes it a tough bait. Now you guys will notice in South Africa, mainly rugby ball baits, we see it all the time. I suppose it's because we're such a rugby country. But this shape of baits is extremely popular. Fits nicely into the mouth, the fish can size it up, and getting great results on them all around. Now another thing, if there's a grey shark smash, for instance, you've got a better chance your bait, after catching a grey shark, your bait will be still fairly okay to just cast it as quick as possible again. Where with the latex, good chance your bait's coming off your hook already. Now this is your base bait, so I want to put additional cotton. Make sure this is nice and strong. Okay, then your last layers. Now you start layering it. You can still use ghost cotton, guys. We'll just make it in general, and just take, say for instance, your last piece you're going to use the latex cotton, and obviously the mush side, the softer side, you're tying to the outside now. So one thing you must be careful of with this bait is not to go over your ring for casting. Secure it more to the top. Now that styrofoam dangle I'm using in the bottom, quite easily you can push in a couple of rattles, the kingfisher rattles for the cob, and it will do no harm using them for hammers or any of those fish as well, to provoke that quicker extra bite. I prefer securing my bait here in the bottom so it doesn't go over that bead. So just to the top of the bead you secure it onto your corded braid, the Dacron, so that your sinker definitely unclips easier. And you can make this ring a bit bigger if you want as well, to make sure. Alright guys, so that's pretty much the bait. And that works for everything. A very nice little rugby ball bait. Chokka bait, and it's sitting in the air like this, floating around, doing its thing. Clips now, it throws a mile because your sinker sits, it's nice and streamlined. Your sinker sits at the bottom of this, and you can really cast this a mile. Okay, there we go. Very nice little bait. Like I said, credit to Linton. For that, we used to just cut one long piece of chokka, long, mash it up and turn it around this bait. Alright, now that's also fine, it works very well. A lot of guys do it for cob, but when there's peckers around now, they're going to take off layer by layer, which will make your bait last a bit longer. Alright, that's the whole purpose of this bait. And then, of course, when fishing for grey sharks, any of the species I mentioned with this bait, if you now take just a small slither of red eye, because as you know, if you fish for grey sharks, you'll know this, and even for hammers, sometimes by adding just this, it will give you better results than the guys next to you. You just add a small slither onto the side here. As small as that, and it can make a big difference. You can put a piece of sardine or a piece of red eye, and you just tie that on. Same principle with the peckers. It creates that smell in the water, it disperses, it creates a bit of a cloud as well around the bait, and it's got that little belly shine, it's got that fishy flavor instead of the chokka flavor, and it can make a big difference for you getting more bites than the guy next to you. So if you're fishing the chokka bait and you're getting the results, every cast is a bite, then no need to change. But if you start seeing that you're getting less bites than someone else, add a bit of mackerel, add a bit of red eye, or add a bit of anything that you've got in your box, and try and experiment, guys. That can sometimes give you more bites than the rest of the guys on the beach. So that brings us to the end of that one. Thank you for watching, and let us know if any of these baits or methods or traces that we show you guys actually get you results. Send us the catches into grindylete@asfn.co.za, and remember to subscribe to our channel. There's something I want to say, some of the older generations, please don't take offense, but when you can't subscribe, it's because you don't have a Google account yet. Alright, because we're getting a lot of views with people, regular views, that's not subscribed, and that sometimes happens when you don't have a Google account. It doesn't allow you to subscribe. So if the channel doesn't allow you to subscribe, just create a Google email account, which is free, and then you can subscribe to these channels, which allows you to push that notification button and get regular updates on every video we upload. Also remember to like the videos. That helps us to promote the channel and grow, and that way we can bring you guys a lot more content, tips and tricks and methods that can get you better results. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.